Well, here I am. I'm going to make myself a homemade teleprompter. Picture glass. They claim it's really glass. 1-inch 3-ring binder. I already ripped out this thing and tore off the plastic. Some binder clips and some foam board, black in color. This was $1 at the dollar store. I think this was 2.5 bucks. I think this was $1. This is probably $2, so I'm probably in for it less than 10 bucks. Here we go. So here's the pane of glass. I've taken it out. As you can see, it's 10 inches here and 8 inches that way. So now I'm going to take this, which is measuring at 11.5 inches. And I know it's upside down, but that's about 10 inches to this crease. So I'm going to put a square hole in this, just slightly smaller than the pane of glass. I'm going to measure it accurately and then cut it. So as you can see, I've marked to mark here, 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 and here. So that takes care of my 10-inch piece, less a 1/4 inch on each side. Now I'm going to mark this, as you can see, basically 9 3/4. I got 9 3/4 here. I want to subtract it 7.5, which is 7 2/4. So I got 2 1/4 inch shorter dimension, and I'm going to center in this. So that means I'm going to be 1 1/8 inches in from this side and 1 1/8 inches in from that side. So I've now put the glass over my markings just to make sure everything looks good. You can see that corner. The hole is going to be cut slightly smaller than the pane of glass on that side. And the same thing with this corner. Here's our right here, right here, right here, and right here. So now I'm going to draw my lines and make my cuts. I now have made my lines. I had to use this as my straight edge because of course I don't have a ruler, straight ruler, but this is a straight edge, so that'll do the job. And I'm going to use this as my guide to make my cuts. So I now have my square hole. I actually cut pretty deep into this cutting board. Fortunately, it didn't go through, but definitely went deep. Okay, now I'm going to take the glass and slide it in between here. Okay, now I have the glass that's pretty much centered in here. It was a little tricky. This material is really thin. So if you want to get a little thicker material, I bet you got to go to some place like Staples to get a little higher quality notebook, but binder. But this will be just fine. I'm sure I'm going to now take some tape and secure the glass around this frame. So here's my, I'm going to use electric tape. I think gaffer tape would be a much better product here. I don't have enough gaffer tape, I think, to do the job, but I don't know, I'm going to see. If not, I'll just use this and maybe come back later and secure it even better with gaffer tape. See, here's my gaffer's tape, and I just don't think it's enough to do the job. I'll get a new roll and, like I said, do it afterwards. So I've done the first round of tape on the inside. It's not a lot of overhang here. I might do a little bit more just to secure it a little more. Plus, be sure when you use electrical tape, since it's so stretchy, you don't want to stretch it because you want to probably keep these edges as straight as possible. So I'm going to do another round of tape. Certainly on the other side, I'll see how it goes. Well, I taped both sides now. I taped this, and I flipped it over, and I taped this side. And it's pretty secure. I mean, it's nothing great. And I think the key to this, especially with, see how frail this is, I think the key is to really reinforce this with a good quality tape. And again, I'm going to get another roll of gaffer's tape, and I'll make this thing nice and secure. I'm probably going to want to make this pretty square frame, although I don't think it's going to make a difference when all is said and done, because even if it's not a perfect square frame, it's still going to do the job. Okay, I'm going to maybe reinforce some of these things a little bit more with some tape. It's a little flimsy in some key areas. I'm going to do that now. So I have to make this a 45-degree angle. And I don't have a 45-degree angle or a protractor or anything like that, a carpenter's square or anything. So what I did is like you did in grammar school, just took a piece of paper, folded it in half, but not quite, you know, put it at an angle, folded it down, had a little bit cut it off, and I just reinforced it with some edges. So this way, when I raise it up like this, there we go, Jesus Christ. When I raise this up like this, I'll put some, there we go, so we can raise it up like this. And you can see I'll just square it off with that 45, and then I'll know exactly I'll have a 45-degree angle. So that's what I'm going to do next. Well, I finally decided to get out my little phone holder, my trusted little tripod. I love this little thing, it's great. And now I'm going to set up my iPhone on this, and we'll be able to hold it and use two hands. So finally I have my nice little stand tripod for my unit, so I can use two hands. So here we go. So I took this, and now we got measured 45-degree angles. And you can see here, when I do that, here to here, I want this to be a straight line. I'm going to use a wire hanger and cut it to size and bend it so it fits in these little clips. So I want to have this a straight line, and the same thing on the other side. So what I did is I took this thing, after measuring it and stabilizing it at a 45-degree angle, I then took this and came up with a straight line, which this is pretty good. And that's basically from this edge to here is 4 9/16, same thing to there. So now I'm going to get a wire hanger and cut it to size, hopefully it'll be straight, and I'll secure this nice and tight. Okay, so I fashioned a cut coat wire, and I angled this already, and now I'm going to put this in here, and I'll take this and kind of keep it tight. Oopsie, here we go. Keep it kind of tight, and going back with my little angle, the darn thing is pretty good, pretty much a 45. That's really good. So I'm gonna have to somehow figure out a way to secure this, and I'll figure it out, because I want this to be able to collapse when I'm not using it. So I gotta figure something out that will, I don't know, I'll figure it out. But meanwhile, I'm gonna make the other side. This, I already got this side, and now I gotta just bend it over here. Okay, well, I've done a little bit of modifying since then. So what I've done is I've taped down this binder clip on both sides, but nothing on this thing. I may still do that, I'm not sure. But what I did is I ended up closing in a little bit of an area that should help secure these wires. So then I've now fashioned my wires. I now have my wires, and they're nice to pretty even. Slightly different, but they're still the same length for all intents and purposes. And now I take this, put this here, and now I do the same to the other side. Put this here. And I'll put it in here. And if we see here, this is pretty close to a 45. That's pretty darn good. On both sides, it's pretty even. So that's my 45, and now it's collapsible. So the next phase is going to build a box so that the iPad's going to sit here, reflect up, and then the person's going to be looking at it this way. Now I got to build a box. Let's get this up a little bit. So now I got to build a box here to enclose the whole thing to make it a black box, so that way you'll get a good reflection. And the camera will sit back here looking that way. Look that way, the person's going to be looking at here, and then you'll have a reflective angle, and the camera will go right through that, and it should work. Let's see what happens. One other thing I did was I took the cutout from this, and with the plastic, I put it back here to give this a reinforcement, because what was happening is that this was causing a little bit of a strain and causing this to buckle. It still buckles a little bit, but not too bad. But it gave it a little extra strength on the bottom. Well, I have now covered the box. I've made my teleprompter. I should have given you individual parts, but I cut these two parts out. Sides, the top and the back. The back is going to be, you got to put your iPad in there. I'm going to cut a hole out here, and then I'll somehow figure a way to seal this up. I decided not to make it collapsible. It's just, could have done it, but it's more practical just to do it this way and store it this way so it doesn't take up that much space. But I'll see how it works pretty soon. Okay, so I had to reconfigure the box. Well, basically, I cut these pieces out, here, 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 and this four. Now, when we turn it around, I close it up, and I put gaffer tape on here. I got a little tab. Did the same with this. So you want to create basically a black box when you put it over the teleprompter. So now I got these little things are going to meet. I'm going to take little clips and put them along there, and I'll allow it to be a black box, and then when I'm not using it, I'll be able to lie flat. So we'll see how this works. Okay, so when we last left off, since then I have now created a hole. Now you see this has some marks on it. This is for my iPhone, and if I want to use a DSLR, I pop that baby out. So this way I have a little, I'm going to show you what I'm doing here. This way I have a little marker, so when I want to put it back in, I line up these little marks, push it down flat. Now this whole thing lies flat. And as you can see, I am ready to put my clips here. So this will create that black box. Just put a couple on for now. And I'll go on the other side. I'm going to put these on here. Clip. And I'll just clip these two front and backs. And now I have basically a black box. And now I put in my little contraption here. This sneaks in right there. And I will, if I put that down there, that's where the iPad's gonna be. And I'll show you in a second. And here we are. I'm gonna hit start and look at that. Look at that damn thing. That looks pretty damn good. That's amazing. So you can speed, this is a free app to do a teleprompter. I'm just scrolling it, but you can see it's really damn good. Okay, well, now that this is all done, let's see how we can break this down. All right. So, I am going to remove the iPad, fold her up. Here we go. Take that, get out of the way. Now, get rid of my hood. Now next, we're going to break this down. Remove this. Break this down, remove this. By the way, I reinforced this with gaffer's tape. So now it's all nice and sturdy and durable. So I want to protect the glass. So I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to sneak this thing in here. This is the one for the right side. I'm going to sneak that there. And this is the left side. I've marked it with a little gaffer's tape, as you can see. And I'm going to put this here. So now they're stored. Close this down here. And because I'm leaving these untaped, I now get to do this to store it. Look at this, see? And now I get to do this, and it clips it, and it keeps it in a steady position, in a fixed position. Same thing with this. Whoops. I'll reposition this back in here. This is being stubborn. Come on, yes, son of a gun. Yeah, there we go, okay. So now these things are stored. Next, I'm gonna put this out of the way for a second. Out of my box. I got these beautiful clips. I'm gonna do this, unclip this, and unclip this. And now here the magic comes. We're going to collapse this. So what I want to do is make sure this doesn't go anywhere. So I fold this like this, and then take this and fold this like this. Pretty good, right? Now here's where the magic happens. I want to store this. Flip this over. I'm going to take this clip here, and I'm going to flip this over. I'm going to take this clip here, and then I'm going to take two more clips. 1, 2. Now, put this down here, and I have, this is now protected. The glass is on this side, so this is protected. I happen to fashion out of gaffer's tape. Love the gaffer's tape. Basically straps. One is 36 inches because this is a little thick. Put it under here. And the other one is 30 inches. Here's my second one. I'm going to put this under here. Now, watch what we're going to do here. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take the long one here, stretch it out, and I'm going to move it right out here. And I'm going to put a little bit of, I'm going to pull this nice and tight and pinch. Take one of these clips, boom, and for extra security, flip this over. Take another one of these clips, boom, flatten it out. I'm going to do the same thing with this underneath here. I'm going to pinch this nice and tight. And take one here. Oh, let's go a little snugger than that. There we go. Take one here. Boom. Take another one here on the other side. Boom. Flatten it out, and look, we have a stiff board. It's pretty stiff here. Its glass is protected. That little hole that I cut out is in there, so it's not going anywhere. And now I can store it flat on a shelf or in a drawer, whatever the case may be. Voila.